This is white people parenting versus Asian people parenting in regards to property. First case study, white people parenting. And you guys do shit like this. We have here a white boy, Gen Y, Gen Z, i.e. Samantha's son, was stressed about rent hike. So the mother, white boy's mother, bought him a house. An old mate over here, Samantha, wasn't like witnessing the son going through a tough time, going through grit, hard work over many years. Basically, she just flew down from America. She's a top lawyer, obviously feeling guilty. Had dinner with her son maybe once in like 7 years. And the son was like, "Mommy, I'm so stressed about Sydney's high cost of living over dinner." And later that night, Samantha called her husband, probably divorced or whatever. "Oh, honey, we should buy an investment property to help our son. I can't stand this pain for our little son." Her husband or ex-husband's like, "Oh, I don't think that's a good idea. But baby, we could potentially spend less money because we pay his rent anyway. The hike means we pay more rent." God damn! Why is he stressed about the rent hike? He doesn't pay rent. The freaking parents pay for it. The next minute, old mate Samantha went to an auction next day and bought her son a house in the inner west. Yo! Before I go to the Asian parents, I want to ask you white folks, what are you teaching your kids? Are you teaching them grit, grind, perseverance, patience? And kudos to you, have all the intentions to love your son, protect your son, give him the best life possible. But look at this. I'm sure you heard about the cocoon and the butterfly story. The butterfly in the early phases has to struggle and push so that it pushes the fluids into its wings so that it can fly independently. But by you helping your son, you free itself from the cocoon by breaking it with your hands so that it can free itself to become a butterfly. You're skipping that life lesson of dealing with the high rental crisis, dealing with struggles. Rather than becoming a butterfly, your son becomes this, a freaking soft-cock snowflake. But white folks, don't roast me yet. To be fair, this is Asian parenting in comparison. If you're unlucky enough and you're a Gen Y and Gen Z Asian kid and your Asian parents decide to buy your property, this is what it looks like. You see, for white folks, white parenting, when they want to buy you a property, they buy a property of your choice. And for example, like this kid in the West. But for Asian folks, you don't buy a property of your choice. You buy their property off them. And there's actually no choice. Forget about inner west. It's freaking Western Sydney, yo. Fairfield, Cabramatta, Canley Vale. You know what I mean. And for white folks, when they buy you property, because they love you, they love their kids, they want to protect you. Whilst for the Asian folks, forget about love, they want to get bloody Centrelink, these bloody stingy bastards. They want to get the age pension. So when you buy a property off them, it gets the property off their name. So when they get asset tested, they pass and get the age pension. And remember what I said about white folks? They want to turn their kids into butterflies. So they help their kids break out the cocoon, out of love, protection. For Asian parents, there's no butterfly, man. The bloody Asian parents are mantis style, bro. And to give you an example of a praying mantis Asian parenting move, this happened to all my Asian mates, including myself, in our early teens. For example, uni and school when we got Centrelink youth allowance. My parents used their praying mantis and prayed into it. They took that shit off me. Like when I grew up, I thought that was normal. I thought, your parents would take your youth allowance and that's the way it worked in Australia until I started talking to my white mates. God damn, they spent the money. Every Chinese New Year, when we get red pockets as Asians, like a Chinese allowance that we give to our kids, our bloody parents would take it every freaking year. I never saw a daylight of $1. And lastly, for white parenting, they will always tell the kids, whatever they say to the kids, the last sentence is, "I love you, remember, I love you." For Asian parents, the last sentence I would say to the kids is, "No, ma, you remember in the Vietnam War? I take you from Vietnam. I jumped from one ship to another ship, nearly died. All the pirate want to kill me, but I fight the pirate to bring you to Australia." And then whatever you say, whatever you're trying to fight with them, you just shut up. Because you're totally guilt-tripped, emotionally blackmailed, whatever, you just shut up. You can't beat their comeback. Whether you agree or disagree, I would say the key word for these two parenting, for white and Asian folks, is just sacrifice, but different contexts. For white folks, they sacrifice their life for you, period, that's it. For Asian parents, they use you as sacrifice for their limited English or limited education in Australia. And then if you were to talk back at them, they'll remind you of their sacrifices. That is why when you compare Asian kids and white kids, you'll see why Asian kids are more driven. And especially for all us Asian millennials like myself, we all experience emotional damage. While white kids, especially with these type of parents like old mate Samantha, they're still sucking on mommy's titties. And that is why for Asian kids like us that are raised by these type of Asian parents, we're emotionally resilient. Our EQ is very high because we have to, otherwise we won't survive. While for these white kids, I'm sorry, white parents, you are building your kids up for failure. You're giving them everything right now. You're taking away all that life experience, that hardship they should be experiencing to become a better person, a stronger person. And that is why if you look at the facts, white kids have a high rate of depression just because they don't have the EQ to deal with it. And I think you guys are the problem. Jump in the comments, let me know whether you agree or disagree.